What's up, everybody? It is Cody here with WerxOS. For those of you that don't know me, I am the owner of Carolina EarthWerx, a site work and utility company. I develop this takeoff software and other softwares for excavation and utility companies that are cheaper, faster, and better. This video is going to serve as a full tutorial and intro video to Werx Takeoff so you guys can see all of its capabilities and how it can benefit your business. It benefits my business drastically every single day, and I think it will help you guys too. So once you get to the main page here, this is kind of just our website landing page. Just got all the marketing related stuff on it. You guys can schedule a demo to see this software if you want to, right off of the Werx Takeoff software, as well as watch some YouTube videos and content that we do on the Takeoff software. Going into the app here, you want to click go into app. It will have a sign in or a sign up screen. I'm already signed in, so obviously this is going to pull it up. But you land on your main dashboard. Main dashboard's got options for uploading plans, projects, just some basic metrics, and then recent projects. Nothing too crazy with the dashboard. Again, I am the owner of a site work and utility company. I did not put anything in this Takeoff software that was just extra. So then the next tab that you've got is projects. This is where you're going to do the vast majority of your work, is inside of the projects tab. If you want to create a new project, you click new project. You can name it, you can put a location, and you can put a job number. You hit create and it will ask you to upload plans. You upload the plans in there and you're good to go to start doing your takeoff. And then the next tab, moving on, is the cost library. Some people use this, some people don't. It's totally up to you. Comes with the software, and I'll show you guys how to turn it off if you don't want to use it. But you've got all of your prices per cubic yard, square foot, linear foot, for different things inside of an estimate. You can add, more data in there if you want. We have a pretty large list in here. All these prices are made up. I'm not going to show you guys my actual prices for my business. So, but yeah, it's something you can use if you want to use it. As far as our top tab here, if you click your little account icon, you can manage your account, sign out, cancel, delete your account, all that stuff. Settings has a bunch of useful info in it. So this is my business, Carolina EarthWerx, all my business data, and then my business logo. This is important because our PDF exports of our takeoffs actually white label with your business information on it. So if you put your business information in here, it will actually say Carolina EarthWerx and put the logo and everything right on the PDF, so it looks like I created it. Appearance-wise, you've got light mode, dark mode, and then just following your system defaults. So if you guys want to change that, you're welcome to. I prefer light mode. Some guys I know like dark. So units of measurement. If you're outside of the United States, you can change your units of measurement and be able to do your takeoffs in different languages. And then you've got your decimal places here. I prefer 2 decimals. Some people prefer 1. I don't really see many people rounding, but you could round if you wanted to. What's new is just showing you stuff that we've updated, and as you can see, for the months of June and July, we have made tons of updates, which is what is prompting this new YouTube video on all of our updates. Then you've got your billing, which if you click manage billing, it's just going to go to your account. Users, if you are a larger company and you have estimators or multiple people that are doing takeoffs at the same time, you can add users to your company. It's $9.99 a month or $99.99 if you have the yearly option to add a user to the account, and they'll have full access and controls. You can kind of tame that down if you don't want them deleting stuff or whatever, but that's where you can add your users in. Then we've got help and tips. So we've got YouTube videos, just some basic help and tip stuff. I tell everyone, if you have a question, my phone number is on here in multiple places. You can call or text me, or you can email me. I'm happy to help you guys with anything that you need. And then you've just got more from WerxOS. So we've got our CRM, our receptionist, and just the WerxOS platform in general. So hopping into the projects tab here, we are going to do a full takeoff on this hotel and Waffle House. Now, This is the tool. As you see, it's rendering. It will only render the first time, so each page needs to render, and then once it's rendered, you can flip back and forth. So I'll go through here. I'm using my arrow keys right now just to arrow through and get these pages to populate. But as you see, once they're populated, they don't render again. That just kind of helps with larger PDFs, subdivision work that we do, huge PDFs. You have to have the ability to be able to render them. All right, so now that we're all rendered up, I will give you guys kind of a rundown of the actual software itself. So on this left tab, if you hit plans, you can actually go through and you can just click the pages and it'll go to them. I prefer using the arrow keys, so that's typically what I do. Then you've got takeoffs. So this is where you create your new takeoff. You name it, you can put a description in, and then you have the option of either doing area, linear, count, or volume measurements. Got a bunch of different color options, and then we've got tags. Tags are very, very useful. They're the next little column on this section here. You can create these tags, and I typically will run concrete and I will run paving because that is the services that my business subcontracts out. And what you can do when you create a new takeoff is you can actually tag things. So you can tag it paving, you can tag it concrete, and then when you export it, I can give my paving guys the portion of the takeoff that they need and not the rest of the takeoff. Same thing with the concrete guys. So it makes it nice. I don't like to share all my takeoff data. So it's just, it's nice to be able to kind of break that down in a smaller box. But tags are an option. They're really awesome. And then you can close both these panes if you want a better look at the PDF. Then in the center here, we've got our toolbar. So we've got pan, select and edit, area, linear, count, trace, which is an AI tool, markup, and then our scale here. So this PDF I've used before, so that's why the scale is already set. But if you're going to set a scale inch for 50, you could type out inch equals 50 feet like it is here, or you can just do inch colon 50 and then hit set scale, and it will say scale is set. And then you've got your legend. So this is all of our shortcut keys. This explains in depth how you do cut and fill across multiple sheets. So if you've got a topo page and then finished grade pages, you can actually go in here and you can work off of two separate sheets. Big controls that I like is curve around segments. So if you hit A, you can actually curve around curb and gutter and all that stuff. It's very, very fast. Then we've got our export functions, which I will show you guys here shortly, but you've got your takeoff summary in a PDF, Excel doc, CSV. If you guys do more work inside of Excel or CSV, you can export that stuff out. Marked up sheets are really cool. They'll leave all of your takeoff markings on the sheet and then actually give you a legend with the linear feet and stuff like that. We use it a ton for erosion control. And then you can include your markups and all that stuff as well. So hopping into this print, this is our topo page, which we're going to come back to. I want to show you guys some of the basic features first, then we'll go back in and we'll do a full cut and fill on this as well on two separate pages just to show you guys. So this is a good starting point here. We've got two buildings. This is a Waffle House, this is a hotel, parking lot, and there's some utility infrastructure in here and everything. It's a good set of plans to kind of do this type of stuff on. But what we'll start with here is we'll start with our building pads. So we'll go Waffle House. And what I want to do, instead of just doing area, what I want to do is I actually want to calculate the volume of rock that we're going to be putting in there. So this is a 8-inch stone base. So we'll actually put 0.667 in here. And we'll use black for this takeoff. So what we are going to do is just trace the edges of the building pad. This is like the basic functions of a takeoff tool, right? Like if you know anything about takeoff tools, this is pretty basic. So we've got our square footage and our cubic yards. We want 8 inches of rock already calculated right here. Now, if you have pricing on, it will actually show you your pricing as well for that rock. So now that we've completed that one, we can go ahead and actually do the sidewalks here as well, which we'll just do, you know what, we might as well do a volume measurement for that too. So we'll do purple, 4-inch sidewalk, We can calculate our concrete in this as well. So we're gonna go here, and same thing, we're just tracing the edges of the PDF here. This is very, very basic function. We hit a little corner here, so I'm gonna hit A, cross it, and as you can see, I can bend around the line. And what we're doing is just the most basic functions of this takeoff software. This is to show you new guys that have never used the takeoff software before, or just show you kind of how the system works itself. But very, very basic function. And this is going to give us our cubic yardage of concrete on top of the area of the sidewalk. So if we come here, we've got 2,007 square feet, and then we need 24.54 cubic yards of concrete for this area. So moving on, we're going to do our hotel building pad, and we'll just do this as an area measurement so you guys can see the difference of it. But we'll come in here and we will run our line work. Very quick and very easy. And so we've got our building pad here, 11,058 square feet. So we're going to add to our sidewalks now. Just click over to sidewalks. We've got a ton more we can do on this side. And as you can see, I just clicked on the takeoff that we already used. And I'm actually just going to come in here and I am going to add this measurement to our already existing measurement. So it'll continue to build. You don't have to create, a new takeoff just because you're finished with that first one, which is really nice. Keeps your data a lot more organized, and just generally it makes the takeoff more accurate. So we got that section, and then we've got one more section over here. Same thing. We'll just click on our existing sidewalk, and we will run all this. And we've got another curb, so I'll just hit A and curve around that. All right, so we've got our sidewalks. Missing a little piece right there, but we'll leave that for now. All right, next thing that we want to work on, this entire site needs to be silt fenced. So we're going to put silt fencing in. And we'll silt fence our limits of disturbance, create takeoff. So this is one of the cool AI functions, is we can actually come in here and we can start grabbing sections of this line, and as you can see, it's auto grabbing pieces of it. And this really depends a lot on how well the PDF was built. And we're gonna hit that trace button, and we're just gonna start tracing segments of the silt fence. So this is a very, very fast way for you to come in and get linear measurements. This will just grab, and you can edit anything too. So if it gets off track, you can add or delete all you need to. That way you can make sure that you're remaining accurate in your takeoff. But you can come through here, grab all of our silt fence measurements. We got this side to do. And this is a very broken line, so it's a tough line for AI to pick up on. But as you can see, it does a fairly decent job. We just got the whole run basically in a couple clicks. And as you can see here, 2,561.91 linear feet of silt fencing will be needed for this job. All right, and now we're going to do our parking lot. And we want a volume measurement for this as well, 6 inches of rock underneath our asphalt. So we will come in here and we will just start dropping our points using that A to curve around our bends here. And this section right here is going to the neighboring parking lot. That's why it looks kind of funky right there. All right, so on this one, as you guys can see, we've got a parking island here. So we're gonna add a cutout to this by hitting the select and edit and then going cut out. And then we are actually going to come in here and we're gonna cut this parking island out of the takeoff. That way we can ensure that we're getting accurate measurements across the board. So there's our parking lot cut out for our island there. Our parking lot has been completed. We've got just about all of our metrics off of this portion here. We've got a little bit of concrete that we need to do. We're just gonna mark that as sidewalk. It's a similar depth of concrete. So as you can see on our summary panel here, we have got quite a bit going on, and you guys probably noticed that I missed explaining a lot of stuff on this right side. That's because this right side is kind of its own animal, but we can go through it now. So the summary here is essentially what your PDF or your Excel CSV export will look like. It has the title, a description if you put one in, and then all your measurements: square feet, linear feet, cubic yards, you know, your counts for structures, your scale, all of that stuff. So we have got all that on this first pane. The second pane is cut and fill. So this we're going to go into here in a second, but there's a ton of cut and fill data in here. Our estimate portion, which some of this stuff will auto calculate in, like fine grading for the building pad. Some of it does not, like sidewalk 4 inches is not calculating right. It's probably because I don't have that in there. But we've got the ability in here to mess with the markup if we want to mark it up. Down here you can mark the whole project up. You can do all kinds of cool stuff with the estimate side. And then markup, you've got all your generic markup tools. So you've got text, so you can mark up text. You can draw arrows, like if you know that there is an issue right there, you can put an arrow. You can highlight certain areas. You can do a cloud around stuff, and you can change these colors too. It defaults to red. Sticky notes, if you need to put notes here and there, you totally can. And then you can obviously select this stuff. You can leave these annotations in a takeoff if you want to. You can take them out. You can export, you know, without annotations if you want. And then you've got AI, so you've got some how-to stuff, and then you can find suggested takeoffs. So we're gonna flip pages here to our storm drain page. There's all our storm drain with our basins and everything, and we can actually click find suggested takeoffs, and it will take a look, and it will see what we find. This again is very situation dependent on the prints. Like this is grabbing literally everything. This is grabbing everything. Oh, no, this is grabbing the building pad. So you can go in there if you want to get the building pad. You can grab that. And I apologize, my person box is covering this, so it's hard for me to see. We've got a lot our parking space lines and some other miscellaneous line work. Some prints are really good. Some prints will pull silt fencing, they'll pull all kinds of other stuff, and then other prints like this one, it's just random. Like, so we've got our silt fence right there. I could have pulled silt fence off that and been done with it very, very quickly. But that's just some of the capability there of the AI side. But what we're going to do is we're going to do 15-inch HDPE storm drain, and we're going to trace this linear line now. So I am going to use the auto trace function once more, and I'm going to auto trace this storm drain. And you don't have to do this either. Like, you can totally draw this linear line. I like this because it is faster than drawing the linear line. But then you get some weird little tanglies in here. So like, we got to go to this line here, and we need to mess with some of the points here. And you can see that it deleted more than I wanted to. That was a fat finger on my end, but I'll just go back and I'll draw these lines manually. Now we need to count our boxes, so we'll go 3 foot, 3 foot, storm, count, and we'll create a takeoff on this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we've got our storm boxes. Those are all measured. If you wanted to go further and you wanted to get aggregate depths here, you can go storm drain aggregate volume 3 foot, and we will measure essentially off the edges of the box. The boxes are 3 by 3, and this sheet is scaled. So 3 foot trench, 36-inch wide trench, 15-inch storm drain, and we're putting 3 feet of rock down. We've got 34.64 cubic yards across this run. You can go back through and you can run all that. You can get all your aggregate measurements for the storm drain. Then we've got water and sanitary sewer. All right, so now we've got our water main that needs to go in. That is also a linear measurement. And bore under the road. This was a fun project. And run our water line to the hotel. And if you've got, like, we've got a 90 in here, right? We've got a 90 fitting. You can go in here and you can put 90-degree water, and you can do a count. And then if you've got more 90-degree waters along the line, like we've got one right here, if we've got more, like say we had one here, and you know, we leave and we do our sewer, right? So we do our sanitary sewer. This is also a linear measurement. Piped across the road, there's a 22.5 right there. Pipe our sewer in. I'm showing you this just for the sake of explanation, because this is very important. So we've got our sewer in place. We had a couple of 22.5 sewers right there. Hit the count on that. And we'll get our 22.5 here, our 22.5 here. And then we've got some 90s. So we'll hit those and we'll go 90. I totally made that a linear measurement, not a count measurement. So we've got our 90, hit count this time, get those, and then we go, oh, we forgot, you know, a 90 on our water. You can click back to the water and you can put your other 90s in, and it will just keep adding. So you don't have to put a 90 in, create a new takeoff and put a 90 in every single time. You need to put it in initially, and then you can go in and you can just re-click these things. Like if we said, oh, we need another 22.5 here. You just click through that real quick and easy, and it gives you that data. So, moving on to cut and fill. Probably what most of you guys are looking for if you're not in the utility sector. This is our topo. it is very flat. We've got a 36, a 35, a 35, and a 34. Very, very flat balanced site. We want to do our existing here, and then we want to work off of our finish, which this is a halfway finished project here. So there's not a lot of, as you can see, not a lot of finished grade elevations on any of these sheets. We've got a finished floor elevation on the building, and we've got a finished floor elevation on this building. We don't have a whole heck of a lot of finished grade except for more or less what's existing, but this will work great for our example. So we're going to go here and we are going to trace our limits of disturbance. So we're going through here and I'm basically just tracing the property line. You can do, like, if you're doing a section, you know, you could use the sheet ends, you could make the area smaller, but essentially what this is doing is it's calculating cut and fill based off of these limits of disturbance. So we've got that. We need to go to our existing surface. We need to hit 36 feet, and then you can trace a contour, you can drop spots, or you can auto trace. Auto trace works really well on topo, so we're going to use that just because it's a huge time saver. And I believe we have a 37 in here too, so we can go change this to 37, and we can get our 37 measurement right there. And then we'll come down here and we'll get our 35. And this is like, this is money. I'm very proud of the cut and fill software in this. It is by far superior to other companies that I know. And I'm just clicking through here, getting all of our contour line for the 35. Hit done on that. Scroll over here, and we'll do something a little different for this one. So we've got 34. We'll drop some spots instead for part of it, and then if you wanted to manually trace this contour line, all of the constraints still work just like before. So you can hit A to get around this curve here and follow that 34 across the street. So those are all of our existing contour lines. And then we need to go now to the next sheet, our finished floor elevations, and pretty much the exact same deal that we had before. And we need to put our proposed elevations in. So we've got 37.50 feet for this finished floor elevation, and we'll just auto trace this contour line and hit enter or double click works. And then we've got 3650. We've got 3650 here. Click this one, hit enter, and now we can work on some of our finished elevations. So we've got 35. Auto trace this guy here. Another 35. And a 30. That's an existing 34, so we've got a new 34. You see I grabbed that whole line very easy. Solid lines are very quick and easy on this. Some of your dash lines are like not quite as great as I would like them. And as you can see, like, storm's kind of getting in the way. So what we'll do is we'll hide storm on this. And we can see here we've got a 36-foot contour line. So we'll grab that one real quick. And that grabbed a ton of data. Why? Because this is all 36 feet. So that's really nice. It makes life a lot easier. And then we've got a 37. So we'll auto trace that 37, same thing, massive line. And now what we need to do is we need to actually combine these sheets. So we're going to go back to our existing. And I didn't draw a limit of disturbance on this, so that's my bad. We're going to draw that real quick. So anywhere that you do cut and fill, you have to have a limit of disturbance. If you don't have a limit of disturbance, essentially what the math does is it runs cut and fill across the entire sheet instead of just across what you're trying to measure. So you want to make sure, and this system will not compute cut and fill if you do not have limits of disturbance set. Okay, so now that we are here, we're going to choose the source sheet, and our source sheet is our existing grade. So we're going to hit page 2, import and register. It's going to click us over to here. We need to drop 2 scaling points. So I typically like to use property lines. You can use buildings, anything that is set, because that's what's going to scale this existing topo to our proposed. Especially if sheet scales are different, this is extremely important. I'm just using these 2 property boundary markers. And as you can see, our existing topo has actually been brought over to this plan. So now we have all of our existing. Now, getting into the meat and bones of this, we can go in and we can click topsoil strip, and we can assume 6 inches of topsoil strip. You can put shrink and swell factors in if you are worried about compaction or anything like that. And then we've got blanket subgrade. So if you need to undercut 10 feet and backfill 10 feet, you can put that in here and it will blanket that across the entire limit of disturbance. Subgrade sections, if you've got, our building pads here that are 8 inches of rock, 4 inches of concrete, we could actually draw this area right here, and that will deduct it from our cut and fill. So we're not dealing with, overages just because of that. So you can see this section here, and it's going to compute it here in a second, and it will tell us what a foot is. So 190 cubic yards of cut out of that building pad because we're backfilling it with rock and concrete. And you don't have to use any of this stuff. You can choose not to use any of it if you want to. But once you're all finished, you hit compute cut and fill, and it's going to give you all of your cut and fill data. So we're going to cut 53 cubic yards. We are filling 1,657 cubic yards. We've got a subgrade section of 190 cubic yards, and that means total topsoil strip of 1,359 cubic yards. We are netting having to bring in 245 cubic yards of dirt to this site to get it on grade. Now, if you want to go even further than that, and you want to give your guys a good visual on what needs to happen, you have the cut and fill heat map. You can change the opacity, and you can also shut off the cut and fill section. And you can see here that red are your high areas that need to be cut down, blue are low areas that need to be filled, and green are areas that are on grade. So that's just a nice little visualizer for people if they want to, if you want to give this to your guys to show them, that's a great option. And then you've got all of your contour lines that you can obviously edit as needed. So that is the cut and fill section of things. And now that we are ready, we can actually go in and I'll show you guys some of the takeoff exports that you can do. So we'll export a PDF summary here. And what that's going to do is just save it as a PDF, and then we'll open it here real quick. I'll show you guys what it looks like. The PDF's been exported. As you can see, it's white labeled Carolina EarthWerx with all my business info, project name, where it's at, job number, and you have all of your data right here, your takeoff data, and then you have earthwork data, which is awesome. It gives you your cut numbers, the section and subgrade, how much you're filling, and topsoil strip, and then your total cubic yards imported, all that good stuff right here. And then if you have estimating turned on, this is your estimate right here. And as you can see, you've got your price down below there. And if you don't want to see this, you just turn the estimate module off like I showed you before, and you won't see this. So that is your PDF export version. You've also got the version to do Excel or CSV, and then marked up sheets, which marked up sheets are really cool The Excel and CSV is pretty self-explanatory, but if you wanted a marked up sheet of this, you can download this marked up sheet, option to include or not include annotations, and you can pull this image, which is awesome, right in. So it gives you all your color coding across the sheet, and then the coolest part of it is down below in the corner you get a takeoff legend, and you can see, you know, Waffle House, this is how many cubic yards need to go there, sidewalk, cubic yards, linear feet, all that stuff. We use it a lot for erosion control, and I use it a lot for staging materials on a site, because someone can look and go, okay, the Waffle House is over there, I need to put 125 cubic yards over there. So just another option to make your guys' life easier. But that is basically Werx Takeoff in a nutshell. It is a truly awesome program. I have used Trimble, I've used Bluebeam, I've used Stack, I've used PlanSwift and AgTech, all these other companies. A lot of them are outdated. They're crazy freaking expensive. And I'm just happy to be able to provide a quality software to site work and utility companies like myself that doesn't break the bank and accurately helps you guys be able to bid work. You've got options for monthly or yearly. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to email me at support@werxos.com or call or text 252-424-0654. I'm happy to give you guys a demo. I'm happy to hop on TeamViewer and help you with your first one. Really just here to help. So if you guys have any questions at all, do not hesitate to reach out. Thank you guys for watching.